My name is Miriam Chauruka, FSC Adult Nursing student. I'll be discussing a patient I admitted in the acute cardiac unit on my first placement. A pseudonym Ahmed will be used to protect the patient identity in line with NMC code for confidentiality purposes, NMC 2015. I'm going to use Dark and Invited 1991 model of health because it talks of layers of influence on health that can be modified, Knight and Rule 2009. On the center of the model is Ahmed, a 68 South Asian man who was admitted with severe chest pains, and he is type 2 diabetes and he is on insulin. Ahmed is also on aspirin and beta blockers because he had a heart attack a year ago. On arrival to the ward, Ahmed was sweating and he was disorientated. Ahmed was obese with BMI of 35 and hypoglycemic because his blood sugar levels were less than 4. Ahmed was brought to the hospital by his wife, who mentioned that Ahmed's family history had both type 2 diabetes and coronary heart disease. The secondary layer of the model is individual lifestyles. Ahmed's wife disclosed that Ahmed doesn't drink much alcohol, but he can smoke 15 to 20 cigarettes a day, and he has reduced mobility due to poor health, and he can only mobilize to the toilet with a stick. On social and community networks, Ahmed lives with his wife, son, daughter in law, and their two grandchildren who are now teenagers. However, due to his poor mobility, Ahmed does not go out into the community to socialize, so he spends most of his time in the house. The third layer of the model is living and working conditions. Ahmed lives in a four-bedroom council house and he is not employed and he has no any qualifications. So, and the family are all living on benefits. Although Ahmed have access to health care services, his wife disclosed that Ahmed prefer using herbal medicine than his prescribed medication, which was more of a concern. Socio-economic and shifts in welfare system on model is a political influence on Ahmed because public health budget was cut by £200 million in recent years, which was funding many services such as screening programs and smoking cessation programs, Wales 2015. It is now a burden to the NHS as it is currently spending around 8.8 billion in patients direct care, treatment and interventions, Diabetes UK 2013. On the global influence, type 2 diabetes is the leading cause of other long-term conditions such as kidney failure, heart problems, and some cancers, and it is a leading cause of death, Public Health 2015. According to Diabetes UK 2016, there are 4.5 million people living with type 2 diabetes, and 700 people are unaware of their condition. World Health Organization 2013 proposes that type 2 diabetes is responsible for almost 63% of annual deaths worldwide. The estimated global prevalence in 2013 was 8.3 among people aged 20 to 79 years, with the world's most population from countries such as India and China, Cyril and others 2015. This alarming rate shows that it is a global issue which needs an early intervention. I'm going to focus on culture as an impact on Ahmed's health, which is a societal influence. Culture was proposed as a great impact on health because people over the age of 65 years, especially from South Asia descent, are 2 to 4 times likely to be at risk of type 2 diabetes, Cyril and others 2015. Abu Karar and others 2013 stated that irrespective of the location, individuals from African, Caribbean, and Asian population have a high risk of developing diabetes because they frequently experience multiple disadvantages due to type of the food they eat in their culture. According to Malik and others 2013, 60% of the world's diabetic population is people from Asia. This could be due to the poor type of diet, which include white rice and other refined grains, and these are linked to increased risk of diabetes as they make up a large proportion of their daily energy intake, which means ethnicity affects the risk of developing diabetes. Findings from Abukari in 2013 research suggested that although some of the patients recognize the benefits of healthy diet and regular exercise, but due to culture and beliefs, some people will not be motivated to change on their behaviors. 85% of people with diabetes live sedentary lifestyles such as unhealthy nutritional intake, smoking, and excessive alcohol consumption. Knight and Will 2008 identified lifestyle factors as risk behaviors that can affect someone's quality of life. Moreover, societal influences such as poor compliance with dietary self-management from some cultures was evidenced to have an impact on health for individuals with type 2 diabetes, Abu Karari and others, 2013. Koh and others, 2018, and Chan, 2009, concurs that South Asian population are more vulnerable to developing type 2 diabetes compared to other ethnicities. Therefore, this could be due to differences in diet because of different cultural backgrounds. Koh and others, 2018, further proposed that traditional South Asian foods and differences in dietary habits in some cultures is the result of diabetes-related prevalences and disease complications. Due to the chronic nature of diabetes, the patient needs long-term concordance and compliance with the regime of treatment. Therefore, it is important as a nurse to assess Ahmed on admission in order to detect the emergence of new problems, Dwight and Lisa 2011. When assessing Ahmed, it is important to understand key concept of diabetes self-management in terms of his daily responsibilities for all task involvement in his diabetes care. During the assessment process, nurses should consider holistic care for Ahmed in order to make right clinical judgments. Increased observation on Ahmed's vital signs, including continuously checking his blood sugar levels until recovered from hypoglycemia episode, is important because hypoglycemia can lead to death. Dohet and Lisa 2011. Ahmed was unconscious with low blood sugar levels. The ideal treatment is intravenous dextrose, as suggested by Marina and Wheeler 2010. This is because the route of administration depends on the consciousness level of the patient. His blood glucose needs to be checked every 5 to 10 minutes after treatment, and increase attention to Ahmed and the continuation of hourly monitoring care rounds would reduce length of Ahmed staying in hospital, and this also improves his safety. Bate 2012. The Nursing and Midwifery Council 2015 recommends nurses to acquire knowledge about long-term conditions such as diabetes in order to empower patients. This can be achieved by educating Ahmed and his family on benefits of adhering to his prescribed medication, increase of using his herbal instead of using his herbal medication. Providing optimal patients care for patients with diabetes require critical thinking, is suggested by Chase and others 2015. Therefore, diabetes education for Ahmed and his family can be the starting point to identify lifestyle changes that need to occur for his health and well-being. Diabetes UK 2014 indicated that compliance and concordance are only by the adherence to the prescribed care plan so that the levels of blood glucose might be kept within the normal range. Therefore, it is the nurse's role to empower patients on how to eat healthy diet, which include fruits and vegetables every day. Public Health England 2015 emphasized that healthy promotion activities to be centralized on nutritional and physical activity. It is also important as a nurse to educate Ahmed's family on how to manage Ahmed's diabetes, as stated by the Royal College of Nursing that it is a role of the nurse to provide good patient care and promoting self-care management. It is within the NMC Code of Conduct 2015 that a nurse who performs the task in question will owe a direct or primary duty of care to the patient. Therefore, it is the nurse's role to have a duty to propose diet plan and exercise for their patient and are affordable, that are affordable and appropriate. It can also be achieved by making referrals to services that educate and provide information about diabetes, such as dietitians and smoking cessation programs for Ahmed, so that he can be educated on the impacts of smoking, as well as making referrals to our diabetes self-management training and training management, so that he will be able to manage his condition, chased in others 2015. In conclusion, it is the duty of the nurse to support the patient and their family to comply with treatment to manage their condition, because self-management skills are essential part of diabetes care. With the help of support from the nurse and other multidisciplinary team, Ahmed's diabetes can be managed. Also, this can prevent further complications as stated by the Royal College of Nursing 2018. It is a necessity for the government to have strategies in place on how to address inequalities associated with the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and how to maintain it in the population as a whole. Nurses should sensitively consider patients' literacy as it is essential when developing appropriate interventions for patients to comply with their diet.